All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order on this beautiful evening on April 11th of the Traffic and Transportation Commission. Welcome, commissioners and members of the public and staff. So we start with our Pledge of Allegiance. So if you please join me. Okay, thank you. So first up on our agenda is just an opportunity for any public comment for something that is not on the agenda. So we'll have a time for comment for something on the agenda, but did you have any comment for something not on the agenda? Okay, great. Seeing none, and I don't see any other members of the public. So we'll go on to our consent agenda, which is really, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do.
Oh, yes, thank you. See, I was so ready to go. We're just moving along. Thank you. No, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Chrissy. Go ahead and roll call.
Commissioner Howell?
Present.
Commissioner Canseco?
Present.
Commissioner Hammer?
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes?
Present.
And Commissioner Quigley?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do see if I looked at my agenda. Okay, now we go on. We've had no public comment. We go on now to our consent agenda, which is really just the approval of the minutes. And again, minutes are really just a record of meeting business and actions. They don't include opinions in every comment. And so if there's nothing on the minutes that anybody has any comment or changes on, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Well, the thing in the city is we have a city manager now, right?
No, we have still an interim city manager. They have selected a city manager, but I believe he doesn't start until the end of May.
Oh, okay. Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second? Thank you so much. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Howell?
Yes?
Commissioner Canseco?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes?
Yes.
And Commissioner Quigley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you all. Okay, now we get to go to our consideration agenda. Exciting first topic, which is number 24-161, and this is an election of an acting vice chair. And again, this is acting because we will have elections come up again in July. So opportunity to continue in July if elected again, but this is just acting up until July. So I think with that, I would entertain a motion of any nominations.
I have a motion to nominate Mr. Reyes on the end there.
Okay, we have a motion for Mr. Reyes. Is there any other nominations? Okay, so we have a motion for Mr. Reyes, and is there a second?
Want to do it?
I'll make,
I'll second it.
all right, we have a motion and a second. First of all, I guess I would ask if you accept this nomination and you would agree to do it. Great, thank you very much, before we just kind of throw you in there. All right, we have a motion and a second, and for Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes to act as vice chair. Chrissy, can we have a vote, please?
Commissioner Howell?
Yes?
Commissioner Canseco?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes?
Yes.
And Commissioner Quigley?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, and thank you so much. Thank you, appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So Chrissy will get with you. We usually just go over the agenda the day before the meeting. And then just for note, I will not be at the meeting in May, so you'll be able to chair that yourself. Okay, so now we go on to item 24-204, which is the 2024-2025 restriping prioritization list. And I think we'll start with the staff report.
Oh, hey, good evening, commissioners. My name is Jonathan Hernandez. I'm the junior engineer with the traffic division. Tonight, I'll be presenting the 2024-2025 restriping prioritization list. I will propose a motion to recommend City Council approve the 2024-2025 restriping prioritization list. So a little bit of a background. Restriping has traditionally been performed with pavement maintenance. Deferred pavement pavement maintenance has resulted in faded striping. Restriping all roads exceeds the city's annual budget, and therefore there's a need to prioritize. So the city anticipates a budget of $400,000 for this project for restriping. Typically, $50,000 of that money goes into administration cost, and the $250,000 goes into the actual improvements. The city staff also recommends retaining roughly $30,000 to be able to respond to smaller requests throughout the fiscal year. So currently, the city does not have a policy regarding restriping. Therefore, it's up to usually it's up to staff's judgment, and also under our budget constraints. For this project or this list, we typically looked at 4 parameters, which was the existing conditions, the service each street provides, or the volumes or ADTs, the cost, and also the collisions within the street segments. We surveyed 30 streets, or 30 minor and major arterials within City of Salinas. We also received 16 service requests from residents via Salinas Connect. So we had a list of 46 segments, which is on the report. Based on our budget constraints, we ranked the top 6 street segments that we believe should be prioritized for next fiscal years. Those streets are at number 1, North Sanborn Road. At number 2 would be Baranda Road. At number 3, East Blanco Road. At number 4, East Market Street. At number 5, Harkins Road. And at number 6, North Main Street at San Juan Great Road. Providing a little bit of relevant traffic data, we try to prioritize those streets that have a high volume of, so those streets that service high number of vehicles were prioritized, as well as we looked at the existing conditions. So it was a combination it's a balance between the high number of vehicles and a severeness of the striping conditions, as well as the cost. Of course, we got to take that into consideration, and collisions as well. So what we see in the table, the most you can see as from rank 1 to 4, we gave a priority to those streets that have the highest service of vehicles, highest volumes, and of course the severity of the striping. Here's a location map of all of this, the streets that we are proposing within the city. We try to spread around throughout the city, throughout the districts. And then here I have some photos of existing conditions of those top 6 ranked street segments. So here we have North Sanborn. Here we have Baranda Road. Here we have East Blanco Road. We have here East Market Street. We have Harkins Road. We have San Juan Great Road at North Main Street. And I'll close with the recommendation is to review and provide feedback on the proposed 2024-2025 prioritization of restriping list, and to make recommendation for council approval. So I'll open for questions.
If the commission doesn't mind, just a quick thing. This is for next year's budget, correct? So
yeah,
for
that's
the
correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So I think at this time, I'd like to open it up for commissioner questions to begin with. So Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes, do you have any questions?
I do have some questions, and thank you for your presentation. As I was reading the report, so the one that we have contracted is Chris Company, is that?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there any mechanism of quality control, or the first question would be, what's the life expectancy of the striping? One of the things that I've noticed as I've driven around the city is that some roads that had just been recently striped, due to the weather we had, they just either was the plastic paint used was very low quality, or the surface wasn't properly clean. I'm not an engineer, right, but it could be an assumption of mine. Just if we continue with this company, that we highly monitor the quality, because it is a heavy investment in the city's budget, and we're only doing 6 streets, so to speak. So if we invest, that we get something in return, and if the striping peels off or anything like that, that there's that commitment from the company to come and redo. If it's a reasonable time, right? We don't expect them to come a year or 2 after it was placed. So the other question I had is more in the sense of, I understand there's no established privatization policy. Just looking at the 6 that you recommend, and I appreciate you elaborating on the reasoning why, but as I look into the master list in the agenda that was presented to us, I see some streets that have a higher ADT, have a higher fatal collision rate. The PCI is extremely low, and based on the pavement management system update, there's a kind of like a, I want to say like a rubric. If it's 50% or less, right, it's considered in poor quality. And in the top 6, I see East Market Street, it's at an 80 percentile. So it's kind of like just wondering if we have streets that are in a broader need. And I do know that some streets probably don't need the striping, but they need more of a fixing, but that's a separate conversation. The striping needs to happen based on the allocated monies. Just wondering if we're being more strategic in the sense of which streets need that restriping. If it's, I know that probably the restripings is not the cause of the accidents that happen, but it could be a factor if we look into that. And I also understand that you want to embrace all districts within the city. But just being more strategic, which ones would make more sense, right, to stripe based on if there's a proximity of schools, if it's a high traffic road within the city, et cetera, et cetera. And just, well, I had another question, and it was answered in your presentation. But the other one was, the last one is, there's some projects that require less of a budget. Can we do more with that limited 400K for the next fiscal year, instead of doing ones that are, not that we don't need to restripe, but that we could do more for the city, so to speak? But just some questions, probably you might not have the answer to totally understand, but just some wonderings I have.
Yeah, so to answer the first question, so the expectancy of restriping is around 6 to 9 years, but it can depend on the volume and on the street and what kind of vehicles are transiting through the street. I'm not sure if we have a quality.
I'm sorry, was that 6 to 9 years? Thank you.
Yes, that's correct. In terms of quality control, I'm not sure if we have that within our contract with our contractor. We do. We have a contract spec, so we do have a quality control program close to that. Second question regarding seeing on the list streets with more or a higher volume. If the street had a higher volume, it was probably low because the conditions weren't as bad as the other ones. So we gave a priority to the service of vehicles that the street services, and if it's in a really bad condition. So if it has high volume, then it probably wasn't as bad as others. And third question was, forgot. Third question.
No, the other one, well, was that just kind of like the system. I know there's no policy on which ones we select, right? And there's so many metrics, and it's hard to decide on the focus of if it's ADT, PCI, collision rate, fatal. It's hard, and it was a question, but it's more like a wondering, like can we do more with less? We have 400K, but at the same time, doing more streets that are more in the sense of not make sense, but are in strategic places, such as close to schools, in roads that are, high traffic. We know the east side, there's so many vehicles, right? More streets being striped in the east side. In comparison, I know the corner of Blanco with Abbott, it's high traffic, right? But it's not the same as having it, let's say, just an example, Sanborn in front of La Paz Middle School. It's just an example, right? Not that it needs the striping. Kind of like that thinking, but I understand your job. It's hard to get a metric that could be used to make those decisions. But it would be best that more money is allocated and we fix all streets, right? But yeah, it doesn't require an answer. It's just more of a wondering comment.
Thank you. Great questions. Commissioner Canseco.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. And also, you were saying that some of these street people, residents report them, the streets, or you just go in and check?
No, so we received 16 service requests. So 16 in the list of 46 are from residents, and 30 we on our own went out and surveyed those streets.
All right, so if the residents want their streets to get fixed, then what do? They just wait until the city decided to fix them?
Well, they report through Salinas Connect, and then we have the list, and
but then
we have to prioritize.
Okay, but then we need to report it in that way. Okay, correct. All right, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Hammer.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Quick question. I'm making the assumption, obviously, that these streets are not, none of these are slated to be replaced anytime soon. So even if we were to replace, let's say, the top 5, those were not going to get tagged in the next couple of years anyway for replacement.
That's correct.
Cool. The $50,000 admin cost out of 400, is that the drawing up the plans and sending out the contracts, or how does that work? Is it funding a position or a slice of a position, or is it included? Is every bid that goes out to the, for example, which one was it that? Number 1 on the list is $138,000. Does that include the plan creation and the drawing it up, or is that part of the $50,000 and the $138 is just hard construction costs?
The $138,000, that will be what we expect the contractor is going to charge us for that specific segment.
And so the 50K
so the 50K
is determining
goes into us making the plans and everything. That's
okay.
Part of the administration costs.
Cool, thank you. And then, and I see it's funded out of CIP, so there is no impact to general fund as on the bottom of the presentation, or I'm sorry, bottom of your report. I see no issue with the order that they're in. We talked offline last week or a month ago about data-driven decisions, and if this is the formula and those are the top hits, then that's okay with me. So whatever street needs and deserves it. Other than that, I hope this sticks, because some of those streets are obviously very bad, and some of them I hit every day, some of them I don't. But I know some of those major intersections, if it rains or in the dark, you don't know where you're driving. So whatever we can do to kind of eliminate the path a little better, I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Quigley?
Oh, yes. On the beginning of your presentation, you indicated that it was previously maintained by city staff, something to that effect you mentioned.
No, usually when they do the pavement management, when they relay a new surface, that's when they would put in the new striping.
Oh, okay. So on a paving project, you restripe it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Right. But along that line, you got city staff that stripes, got some striping capabilities, correct?
Our maintenance can do a smaller request.
So did the city ever have the capability of striping their own roads and doing them all?
Hi, sorry to jump in here. The city has capability of doing, say, pavement markers. We do not have the capability of doing long lines. So we can do limited striping. We can't do, say, a full striping job.
You got a small
Yeah.
striping truck, not the big one to
Not
run the
the-
lanes.
correct.
Okay. But did the city ever have that? Have they?
No.
So this has been an ongoing thing for like the life of the city or since they put roads in?
Well, we don't, obviously, we don't, we have a limited history understanding really what the city's capabilities were prior to us coming on board. But no, the city currently does not have that. This has been a conversation we've had previously with our maintenance department. But with that comes, what we were informed that was that with that comes the need for the personnel. And we just don't have the personnel to do a full, full striping job.
I mean, it's like 300,000 for a striping rig and you got to
Correct.
fund
You got to
2
fund
to 3
the
guys to
crew.
run it usually.
Exactly.
Right? So you did a workup with them to see where it was cost effective?
Well, I've had several conversations with the maintenance department about that, and this was several years past, at which time I was told, no, we can't do this. Correct. Unless
the money
the
gets
positions,
reverted to allow
correct.
for that, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay,
Correct.
great. Now, as a follow-up to Mr. Reyes is about the inspection. Okay, you got these contractors that were paying money to work on the streets. You got somebody to go around and inspect their work, make sure they actually put the stuff on the road, right?
Yes, correct.
Right? And so are they held to the same standards as, say, like the striping crew? They meet the same standards as far as traffic control and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so you have like an inspector that will come along and sign it off, and then you pay them the money, right?
That's correct.
And you maintain a 10% contingency.
5%.
5% contingency. Oh, okay. Now, we're asking about the premature failure on the roads, right? Okay, so what are you using? You're using water-based paint, thermoplastic?
Thermoplastic.
Thermoplastic,
Yes.
right? Because water-based goes away really soon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a big price range there of $6 to $18 or $28, and the average of that is $17. Is that a fair statement for linear foot?
Yeah, that's correct.
That would be a fair statement for a general cost, or does it ride high or low from that?
No, that's correct.
That's right? Okay. Yeah. So perhaps what I was getting to is also what I noticed is that there was the attachment to this one was the 2020 pavement marking system update final that is dated March 4th of 2021. And last year when we had this same evolution on May 11th of 2023, you weren't here, but that was not included. And I was wondering the difference, and that is a really big inclusive document that actually shows where all our roads are, knows where our striping is, and gives us an idea that we're or for the roads in general, what is it, 1.2 billion in the hole is fixing them? Something to that neighborhood?
I don't have the number.
Well, anyways, this document's 185 pages. I was able to spin through it real quick and come up with some numbers out of it, right? And so what I'm getting to, basically what I'm getting to is wouldn't it be more cost effective that we actually had staff that did this at hopefully lower costs, and we didn't have to actually do this evolution? All the streets were taken care of. So is that like a proposal we could do?
No.
darn it.
We're not, we're not,
We're not fixing it?
no.
Okay.
We're not responsible for staff's work responsibilities, the contracts the city makes. Our task at hand tonight is to review this list and make a recommendation to City Council to a restriping prioritization list based on the estimated money that might be in the budget.
Okay, so I'll stick with that. And just one last question. So back again to last year and this year, what I noticed was 150 to a 175K split, which was, there was about 150K that was allocated for it. There was a deficit of what needed to be done is 175K. That was last year. This year, we're at 400K and 2.4 million. That means it went from, if you take the 150 away from the 275, you end up with about, $500,000. And now we're at a 2.4 million, which is, last year we should have been left with a $500,000, and now we got 2.4 million.
Okay, once again, we're not debating the budget for the city.
Oh, I'm not talking about the budget. I'm talking about where we're at in the hole here. What's presented today is that we got 400K to throw at this, but we got 2.4 million in liability that needs to be done. Last year we had 150K, and the liability at that time, what it showed when we met here, was 725K. So basically, we increased by what, almost 2 million in stuff that needs to be done. You follow my numbers? Does anybody follow my numbers?
Well,
okay.
Again, we're being tasked tonight to look at a prioritization list based on the estimated amount in a city budget going forward.
Okay, that's fine, but the numbers don't add up here. Okay, that's all I can talk about. I'll stop there.
Thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify, you said that there were 46 total areas for improvements, and that 15 of those came from residents or from
16.
Salinas Connect?
16, yes.
16, okay. And then how did you approach surveying and identifying the additional ones that needed fixing?
We went out, physically went out and looked at the conditions, took photos, and have a document of what's out there.
And is that kind of a combination of just being proactive, or just looking, or again, taking comments and suggestions or things that you're getting reports on? Okay.
That's correct, yeah.
And then you mentioned that right now there's no policy for, is it restriping prioritization policy? There isn't one. Is that something that the council would be considering creating, or is that something that is an opportunity to create in the future?
I know in the future our goal is to have a policy for restriping. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. And that would be helpful then for these kinds of conversations going forward. Okay. And again, there's no guarantee that it could even be $350,000 in the city budget, and that's to be determined, right?
That's correct.
So again, as I always remind people to contact your council member, because they're the ones that set the budget. Okay, those are the only questions I have. We have a member of the public with us tonight with a friend. And is there any public comment on this item on the agenda? No, okay, great. So seeing no other member of the public that might wish to make a comment, I think at this point, before we take a motion, is there any other comments from Commission? Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes, any other comments? Commissioner Canseco? Commissioner Hammer? Commissioner Quigley?
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. And I don't have any other comments. If I can take a motion to recommend the City Council approve the 2024-2025 restriping prioritization list as presented.
I will make that motion as presented.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call, Chrissy?
Commissioner Howell?
Yes?
Commissioner Canseco?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammer?
Yes.
And Commissioner Quigley?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we are moving through tonight, and the last thing up is any commissioner reports from your district that you'd like to share. Commissioner Gonzalez-Reyes?
Yeah, thank you. Just I have a comment and an ask. The first comment is that it seems like, weather's changing. We have a beautiful day today, yesterday. And as the weather gets better, and if you've driven throughout the community, the city of Salinas, you've seen that the weather hit the roads hard, right? And just by reading the 2020 report and those projected scenarios, I think that's something that needs to be considered now that, more roads ended up deteriorated and need probably high maintenance, right? And it's going to be hard work, and my job is going to be going back to my council member and talking with him and encouraging him to bring something up to council so that way more funds could be allocated to fix our roads. I know that our residents are always asking, right? And it's the big impression that things are not being done when our roads aren't good. And there's folks moving every day to commute to work or just as pleasure. Residents to be patient on that. I know that the staff is working hard on maintaining the roads. We do have the app, just, report any pothole or anything that you think that should be fixed, and the staff should be getting onto it. The second part, as we're talking now for next fiscal year, that I would like to ask the staff if they could create a presentation and a report of projects that have been recommended by this commission and approved by council to see where the status is at, if there's anything pending, if there's anything that's been executed. So that way we could be more strategic when we make our recommendations to council. And based on how the roads were hit with the weather, just that our recommendations to council before they get approved are, responsive to the needs of the roads within Salinas. Hope that makes sense.
Can I ask maybe a clarifying question? Would that be maybe sort of like a year in review summary, like our last year?
Yes. It doesn't have to be for the immediate. I know it's they have to pull queries report whenever they're ready. The staff to present. It would be nice that we all get that presentation and a report so we could follow along as they present.
Thank you. Commissioner Canseco, any comments for your district?
Going back to the roads, there's a lot of roads that need to be fixed. I mean, I live over there by each side, and you can see it, like the street where I live, there is so many holes that you reported, they come and fix it, but then it's just like they wasting the money. I think it would be better if they would just fix the whole road, because they're just coming like 3 times a year, and they keep wasting money and time, and it's not gonna get fixed. So I know the city is the one that decides which street needs to be fixed, but to me it would be better like the way they do on the sidewalks, that you report it, they put it on a waiting list, and then they're fixing it. It might take like 10 years, but they're coming and fixing it. If the roads, they might take like forever, because I have seen a lot of roads that need to be fixed. But I guess that's our council job, and I think, I don't know, at some point they might need to allocate more money to our streets, our sidewalks. Thank you. And thank you for your job, once again.
Thank you. Commissioner Hammer.
On the, I don't have a whole lot to say. I haven't gone to any alternative, alternative transportation meetings or anything like that. So, but now the weather is nicer, we should all go out, and instead of driving and beating up our roads some more, we should hit the sidewalks or hit your bicycle. Although depending on where you live in the district or in the city, that may or may not be a bouncy ride. So, but thank you all for the work you guys do. I know you're doing a lot on a little, and I hope that with the impending budget cuts that will be coming, hopefully the roads and streets and sidewalks won't take too hard of a hit. So, but the less traffic is on the roads, the longer they last. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Quigley, any reports from your district?
Well, I did want to highlight a news broadcast that was on 2/4 of this year from KPIX and CBS San Francisco about Market Street in Michigan. I don't know if you guys have been up there recently, but it's what I'm trying to bring a highlight to is what they're doing up there. That they pretty much closed it off, putting all the bicycle lanes and stuff like that. that as a result, nobody's going down, you have like a 38% vacancy rate. So, but again, you got fentanyl zones all across there. I was up there 2 weeks ago at night, it's pretty bad. Back to the bigger picture of fixing the roads, it's really kind of simple of A, B, and C to me. One is this, now that I've seen this 2020 pavement management system update, it pretty much showed, that was a good study apparently, that it quantified what we got and what we need to do out there. So that's A, we know what's out there. B, if we look at the funding sources, if you can go back, I know you guys are all real young to this, but if you can go back to the 60s and see what they did with the Bright Driveway project and all the times that they've taken tax money for the roads and see how it's been diverted for the buses and for this and for that. That's another thing. Quantify all of the funding sources. So now you know what you got to do. Now you know where all the money was supposed to go to it. Then C, you just apply that money to it. Because this whole evolution is actually a failure of the system of not taking care of the roads. When we have a split of 400,000 and 2.4 million, and we're walking into a hole deeper and deeper. So we need to come out of that hole, get in front of the 8 ball, and we can put the money into it. So that's what I'm going to say about A, B, and C of taking care of the potholes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like a never-ending pothole as the roads. Let's see. My one question or maybe comment, and it's because I come into downtown every morning during the week, the intersection at Alisal and Main, and I'm a huge fan of the Scramble intersection, so you wait for the little walking person before you go. But it seems to me that that cycles through on a pedestrian walk when there's no one there. Now, there could have been somebody there that pushed it, but then they went away. But when I'm waiting in my car there coming in, and I notice it more in the morning because when there's no traffic, so maybe just to check on that cycle on Alisal and Main to see if, for whatever reason, the pedestrian is cycling through when there's nobody there that's actually pushed the button. Because I know some people aren't fans of it, but I think it works great when you use it well. And then my other comment would be just a note in the minutes to encourage those council members who do have open commission seats on this commission to, please look at nominating some folks to join us here so that we do have a full commission and that we don't ever risk maybe not having a quorum, if somebody gets sick or something like that. So we hope to see some new faces up here over the next few months. So I think with that, those are my comments, and I thank everybody for their time. Again, congratulations on your vice chair anointment. And I have mentioned myself, I will not be at the May meeting. Anybody else? Everybody else is going to be here? Good. We'll have, okay. Well, great. Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Chrissy and staff, and meeting's adjourned.